So this is the past or the foundation, right? Last week, last month, last year. You kind of, I mean, for some of you, I kind of feel like, I don't care what age you are, 30, 40, 100. You kind of feel like you've done your legacy. You've got, either you've got the nest egg, you've got the house, or you've got whatever ready to kind of pass on, or you've done your life's work. Now that's going to be for a few of you, but I want to get that one out of the way because that's for the least amount of people, that message. Remember that, right? So for those of you that everything else still applies. But some people feel like they've done their work. They've got the pension ready, or they've got that nest egg, or, they've saved up the money for the kids' college, even if the kids too, whatever. For others of you, there was something that you thought was going to be it. A relationship, a job, or whatever. You thought, this is it. This is what I'm dedicated to. This is going to be my life's work. Or this is the relationship that I'm going to be in forever. Or this is that job that I plan to do until I retire. That energy coming in as the past. I don't think that's the truth for you anymore, is it? No, it isn't. Because this is the past. It's very telling when the Ten of Pentacles comes up as a past energy. Because the Ten of Pentacles is all about legacy. It's all about long-term stability, security, support. It's there. It stands the test of time. That's why you always see, have a look. You see this elderly man, and he's created all of this. And you see the younger generations here. You see the little kid there, the dogs. He's created all of this to leave for the generations to come. Now, it doesn't have to be a job. It doesn't have to be money. Pentacles we find stability and security from a lot of things. Relationships, like I said, or the home, or, our investments, whatever it is. But the reason I'm saying I think you're going in a new direction is, first of all, we have the King of Swords as your underlying energy. Ooh, and the King of Swords, he knows his mind. He knows his truth. He's very logical. Like, he doesn't get caught up. Have a look. There aren't any emotions here. Bloody hell. Leo, you guys you live from the heart. Trust me, I was raised by a Leo, and I know what a big heart my dad has. You guys live from the heart. You're very kind of giving, but you guys can be cold ass little shits when you want to. Not in a bad way. It's needed sometimes. And that's when, you cut off. You cut off that emotional side. Then you're very logical. Then you're very fixed. The kings are the fixed signs. So you might be dealing with a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or someone who is that way. And so, when it's almost like, if you're going to be that way, well, then I'll be that way too. And that's kind of what this is. But your mind here. You're not going to be, this is not about the kings always do things for the greater good anyway. They do it for the greater good. They're in charge. They take care of their kingdom. But something now. That's the King of Swords. He's the advisor. He has knowledge. And he's very articulate. And you're not afraid to speak your truth. Whenever I see the King of Swords and the Justice card coming in together, he can be a lawyer. That can be legal matters. And then in that case, let's just take these three cards here. Lawyer, legal matters, inheritance. It can be. But again, I don't usually go in for specific messages unless they kind of scream out at me. And that one did. This is not about that. I feel for the majority of you, you thought you would do something forever, and forever turned out to not be that long. And you have a new truth. And I kind of feel like however long you've been planning this, however long you've known about this, I feel this is the week where you finally talk about it. Or you finally say, you know what? I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Or I don't know if I'm that invested in building this. I want to go off and do something else. Now, there's nothing really negative here. So this is not about breakups. This is not about ending stuff. I don't see endings. Do you see endings anywhere? Well, that's in the past, right? So, but nothing here talks about endings. I kind of feel like this is where you charm your way to get the other person on board with you. Whether it's about work, whether it's your partner, whatever it is, this is where you go and talk to them, and you'll be silver-tongued. With the King of Swords coming up, he's very good at articulating his arguments and getting his debates or his arguments across. He's very good at that. Justice is about fairness and balance. So it talks about, it is compromise at a certain level, but I kind of feel like this is about meting out justice as well. It's about doing the fair thing. That's what I'm getting here. And I don't always get that. If you watch me for a while, you know I don't always get that with justice, but I do get that here. It's almost kind of like, I'm sorry, but, you know, I'm just not into this anymore. But it's not as if you're just ending it. I feel like you have an alternative. There is an alternative here. Do you think we could do this instead? Or instead of that, whatever business, let's go and do this. Or I don't know if I'm into the relationship in whatever way it was there. I would like to do it this way. And I think you'll be very persuasive. So if there's those of you that, you know, you've been putting off having a conversation because you kind of felt like, well, I'm in this now. I committed to this. I said I'd do it. There is a way out of it. And I think you realize it this week, because that's the thing with the King of Swords. He knows. It comes to him. It's his knowledge. He has that knowledge and he speaks his truth. And his word is his oath. And that's the kind of sticky point here. You know, you might think, well, I promised in the past. There's a way around it. I don't know what it is, because it's going to depend on the situation for you. But that's justice. The scales get balanced. And it's, have a look. He's holding up a sword. He's holding up a sword. Or she. I don't even know what this is here, but it's usually Lady Justice, right? So there's a sword here as well. That's the sword of truth. So speaking the truth, discussing this, getting it across, you know, very calmly, very level-headedly is what's going to work. And there is a dialogue, because we have that with the Eight of Wands coming up here in the present. This is communication back and forth. If this is your energy, and I usually read the court cards as the energy of the person or the people in this case that I'm reading for, you are the King of Swords. I'm sorry. If this is coming down to a debate or an exchange of ideas, you win. The King of Swords will always win that. Will always win that. It's really interesting. So I was telling Cancer this just before your reading, that Mercury's retrograde. And, you know, everyone's got this thing of almost like, don't breathe, don't do anything, don't, you know, lock up your wife, your kids, whatever. Mercury's retrograde. But that's not what Mercury retrograde is. The whole reason we end up, you know, misunderstanding things or communications go kind of all over the place, it's because we don't react the way we normally do. That's not always a bad thing. So if you as a Leo are usually very passionate, very kind of like emotional or intuitive, you know, how you react to things, you're doing the other thing now. You're very ultra logical, and that's going to throw people off. I just remembered, I don't know if you guys have seen Rocky. I love the Rocky movies. You know, I'm always going on about Rocky, but in Rocky 2, and I'm sorry if it's a spoiler alert here, but they change it up. You know, Rocky's a southpaw, leads with his left, and he's going to fight the same guy again, but they train him as a right-handed fighter to throw off the opponent. And that's what I feel like the effect that you have here. Because I almost get the sense that you're not going to react how you normally would react. Because I saw that King of Wands, remember, when I was shuffling? Passionate, kind of, they might have even thought, oh God, Leo's going to lose his mind, or Leo's going to get angry, or the lion's going to start roaring, that kind of energy. And this is kind of almost it's unassailable argument. That's what I'm getting from this. You have this unassailable argument that people are just like, oh, okay, well, they can't really argue with that. Because there's not arguments here. This is an exchange of ideas. This is not an argument. This is an exchange of ideas. And the fact that, you know, the wands are kind of information, it's direct, it's clear. You can kind of take this on board. And I feel like you guys are spearheading this. So if those of you, this message, I know it feels kind of specific. It's for those of you that have something to communicate here. This is the week to do it. This is the week to kind of communicate it. I just want to say this as well, you know, it feels kind of cold, but it might be, you know, the people that think that I've done my duty, I've done my whatever, I've got left whatever for the kids, I'm ready to do this. Someone could even be asking for a divorce here, you know, and it feels like it's been a long time coming, that, you know, we stayed together for the kids are at college now or whatever. Let's just go our separate ways. It feels very civilized. There's no arguments here. There's no kind of overheated. That's the whole thing of it. It's so level-headed and so calm. And it's not a surprise to anyone. There's no resistance. There's no arguments here. It's just like, yeah, let's do this. So that's one example of how it plays out. But it's going to play out in a number of different ways for you. But the bottom line is communicate it, Say it, come forward with your argument, especially level-headed, logically, you're going to get your way. And that's Three of Wands coming up as a future energy. Yeah. You get what you expect. This feels like a chess game, Leo. I'm not going to lie to you. This feels like a chess game. And it's like as if, I don't know, when you've had it planned for a long time, but you were in something, you were committed to something. This is a card of commitment. You couldn't do it. And now, for whatever reason, now is the time you can execute this to perfection. To perfection. And this only works if you communicate, because we have this massive kind of energy column here of communication coming in. And if you do that, because remember, the future is a projection from where we are. That's what I mean, the chess game element of this, because this is waiting for your ships to come in, waiting for what you expect back, right? But you know what to expect. There's never any surprises with the Three of Wands. And so there is this kind of sense of almost like, I've planned it out. I know what I'm doing. And it restores balance. That's the thing. That's why no one can argue with you. Because they might want to, and justice can be contracts. They might be, I don't know, whatever it is, it's airtight and it works for everyone. So whatever your solution is, you guys are going to have to let me know how this plays out, because the message here seems very clear, but I'm trying to figure out how you would use this, because it can play out in so many different ways. What happens out of this though? What's your advice? The advice is the Page of Pentacles. Think you're about to start something new. Because of this. But it just feels like there's other people. I know other court cards didn't come in, but it does mean that can be the family, but family isn't just blood, right? It could be the company that you work in or the business that you have, whatever. It feels like there's a lot of loose ends to tie up. There's a lot of people that you're trying to keep happy here, but you do it. And so that's what you expect is what happens from this. Honestly, I'm trying to figure out if there's any kind of red flags or anything here. There aren't any. The only thing is with the Page of Pentacles is, it can feel like it's something small. If you've gone from the Ten of Pentacles to the Page, then it might feel like you're taking a step back, or you're starting small. You might have worked for a huge company and now you're going to go work in a startup. It's that kind of thing. Or where the money isn't that much, but it makes more sense to you. It feels like it's more in line with what your ideas are, of what you're trying to achieve here. That's the kind of key thing here. Common sense. It just makes sense. Whatever the argument is, whatever and by argument, I don't mean conflict argument. People raise their different arguments. It feels like you have an answer for everything. Someone could say anything to you. They're like, well, Leo, what about this? And you're like, oh, okay, I've actually already thought about that. And here's the information that goes with it. Now, the thing with the Page of Pentacles, it is about paying attention to the details. So I just want to say this. If this is a negotiation, for some of you, this feels like a negotiation that's been going on for a while. Please just make sure, after everything I said about Mercury retrograde, that you read the fine print. Read the fine print. That's the Page of Pentacles. Or put in whatever you need to put in, right? And make sure that it's kind of seen to or whatever. But that's, again, the main message I'm getting from the Page of Pentacles is it's something new. I feel like something new is here, because the pages, they bring messages, or they offer us something, right? And it's almost like, start small. If this is some kind of bidding, or if this is something, you don't have to go as big. The Page of Pentacles is always something small. If you're trying to start something new with someone else, right? Then even then, it doesn't have to be like, a lavish kind of dinner date. Trust me, Leo's very big and extravagant sometimes. This would be like coffee. Let's meet up for coffee. It's getting the ball rolling, I kind of feel, with the Page of Pentacles. That even though it's something small, it may have the chance to, the potential to go long term like this. But it starts off small. But yeah, this feels like a massive change in direction. Massive change in direction. And it starts off this week. Something small, yes. 1 pentacle we're starting with. But you've done that 10 pentacle thing before, and you can do it again. Now think about this. Because what's action? Action is wands, right? Wands energy. And we have 8 of wands and we have 3 of wands. So with the 8 of wands, yes, opportunities can come in. This is when their pace picks up. You go very quickly. Things can happen very quickly. This could be travel, But what's telling for me is the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands, this guy, even this, there's no such thing as a wait and see energy in the tarot. And I would challenge anyone who wants to tell me, oh, not even the Temperance card. Nope, it's not wait and see. Hermit card, not wait and see. Hanged Man, that's not wait and see. We're always doing something. Even when we're waiting, we're waiting because we're doing something else before that can come in. And with the Three of Wands, yes, he's waiting for his ships to come in. You see these little boats here in the background. But he has a plan. He knows what action to take when the boats come in. When he gets his cargo, which he knows is on that ship, he's already got a plan. I'm going to take it to market. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Chess game, right? I told you. Chess game. So action, this is not, as much as you're discussing things and talking about things, that's a bold move in and of itself. Someone's going to get swept off their feet by this, blown away by it. But no one quite does it like you guys, Leo. But actions speak loudly.